Friends, we have come into this real world. Everyone has their own destiny script. Each has their own path to walk. Often what convinces a person is not reasoning, but hitting a wall. What awakens someone is not preaching, but suffering. The biggest prison in this world is the cage of people's thoughts. Everyone lives in the prison of their own mind, deeply confined, unable to listen to any opposing arguments, habitually resisting everything outside their own thought system. Everyone pays for their own perceptions, so the hardest thing in life is awakening. As the saying goes, only at the brink of despair can one find a way out. A person's cognitive awakening, 99%, comes from society's countless cuts. Going bankrupt, falling seriously ill, loving the wrong person, marrying the wrong spouse, experiencing life and death betrayals. Only when people are in such pain that they can't sleep do they wake up. When someone still harbors expectations, you can't wake them up. Only pain can. Even if the rain is heavy, it doesn't nourish grass without roots. Even if the Tao is vast, it doesn't save those without fate. Because if you haven't realized it yourself, no one else can give it to you. Even if others advise you earnestly, you won't care. Even if they force it upon you, you can't receive it. Everyone has their own path and their own trials. Only you can help yourself cross over, completing the upgrade of life. If you can't cross, you'll remain muddled, asleep, and unaware. An awakening is the journey one must take from ignorance to wisdom. What is ignorance? What is wisdom? Ignorance in life. An easy way to describe it is that most people, as soon as they open their eyes before their feet touch the ground, are already thinking about all sorts of things. The mind can't stop. They don't even know they're thinking, let alone why. When opening their eyes, they think about getting dressed. When getting dressed, they think about brushing their teeth and washing their face. When brushing their teeth and washing their face, they think about what to have for breakfast. When eating breakfast, they think about whether to walk or drive to work. Except when sleeping deeply, they're thinking almost all the time, always conversing with the thoughts in their mind, entangled endlessly. Their attention is rarely on what they're doing. Most of their attention is in their mind, as if living inside their head. In their mind, they battle with various thoughts, emotions, and imagined scenes. They don't truly dress, wash, or eat. They haven't truly seen everything around them. Everything is perfunctory, unable to fully feel and focus on life at this moment. This is a manifestation of ignorance in life, because our minds always create definitions, especially so-called meaning, success, a better self, and various notions of good and bad, right and wrong. They have never felt the complete existence of the present moment. So ignorance is refusing to accept things as they are, forcibly adding various explanations, assigning various meanings. Therefore, we pursue the good and resist the bad. Both are actions of the mind. So cultivation is to let the deluded mind rest, maintaining naturalness. Be as simple as a child, directly experiencing the completeness of the moment. No need for a heap of thinking and entanglement. Unfortunately, most people find it difficult to do so, because we have many definitions of success, whether it's so-called worldly achievements or levels of spiritual cultivation, believing that only if they achieve some defined success will it be meaningful. The ego maintains its existence through the desire to control, to gain a false sense of security, or through false meanings and goals. For example, controlling everything about oneself, controlling others around them, fighting against some thoughts, especially fearful thoughts and so-called negative thoughts. Without those desires to control, we would be peaceful, our body and mind empty, returning to our original heart, returning to a state without the mind, without the ego. But they are unwilling, so the mind generates countless thoughts every day. Why various thoughts? Various notions, pursuits, fears, successes, and meanings. Endless, never stopping. We naturally live in the mind, ignoring what is happening right now, unable to eat well, sleep well, walk well, harmoniously interact with everything around us, always feeling constrained. In fact, it's ourselves diving into the whirlpool of thoughts, emotions, and thinking. We choose to be bound. Of course, it's not about suppressing them or escaping them, but to quietly see thoughts, emotions, and thinking, seeing that you are not them. This is the beginning of freeing yourself from their control. It's like regaining consciousness in a dream, knowing that the image in the dream is not you. As I mentioned before, every thought carries energy. Identifying with negative thoughts naturally brings negative emotions to the body, uncomfortable feelings. For example, the same thought feels different in different people because some identify with it, some don't. Originally, there was only one thought, immediately followed by associations. This is why we keep thinking even when walking. They are not aware that they are thinking. Even enjoying that thinking, unable to distinguish between true and false, what's important. Clearly, walking at this moment is what they're actually doing, but their attention is on fighting thoughts and emotions, on thinking, unable to just walk peacefully, ignoring the life scenes of the moment. Various thoughts are like a kind of division, estrangement, creating a distance between us and what we're doing, between us and the present moment. This is what is called going against the path, always living in the mind, ignoring the reality of the moment. This is called ignorance. For example, you might be holding a phone now. Have you felt what it feels like when the phone touches your hand, including every moment in daily life? For example, drinking water. How does the water flow into your stomach? What does it feel like in your mouth? What does your body feel like when you're sitting? What does your body feel like when you're walking? Few people notice, because subconsciously they think these are trivial, unimportant. What is important is the mind's constant thinking about the past and future, thinking about many things that haven't really happened yet, living in the mind's thoughts and imaginations. Naturally, there will be worry, fear, annoyance, pain. The mind tells you all the time, there are lots of important things. You must handle them, but you can't handle them because they haven't really happened yet. You have no way to start solving them. You can only be anxious. Worry and fear follow. So what is actually happening? In fact, every day you're just moving your hands, moving your feet, moving your mouth. Look around you. Has any major event really happened? Have you paid attention to what surrounds you? Have you interacted with them? Are there really lots of things you need to think about and deal with? Actually not. On the contrary, because of those unnecessary thoughts, you miss what's happening in the present. You become unable to understand yourself. Not to mention knowing yourself, because you're not honest enough. You're either living in mental fantasies or disguises. For example, some people clearly want money in their hearts, but say with their mouths that they treat money like dirt. Why? Because some think money is vulgar. They consider themselves spiritual practitioners. They are not vulgar. They like to feel superior. Think carefully. Pursuing money is greed. How is pursuing spiritual achievements not greed? What's the difference? Also, some people clearly have physical instincts, have emotional expressions, but they suppress them, making themselves live hypocritically and painfully, believing that this suppression will bring good results. Still greedy for the so-called benefits of cultivation, living in the future, unable to live in reality, but living in the present, experiencing what's happening now. Feeling those feelings is a good start. It's the beginning of understanding yourself and knowing yourself. What is needed now is honesty. This isn't just about speaking the truth, but facing your body's instincts, your true thoughts, true feelings. Honesty is truth. Honestly facing every happening and true feeling, without distortion, without disguise. Like the previous example, clearly wanting money in your heart, but saying you don't. Or clearly wanting to eat something, but saying you hate it. To maintain that false self, to maintain that feeling and image of being noble. Saying such hypocritical words is a major obstacle, because it's hard to understand yourself while disguising yourself. If you don't dare to be your true self, accept your true self, face your true self, how can you talk about knowing your true heart and nature? Of course, I'm not asking everyone to crazily pursue anything, but to follow your inner true feelings. Don't disguise yourself. Face yourself honestly. Liking money is not wrong. Not liking money is not wrong. Nothing is wrong, but don't deceive yourself. Clearly you like it, but insist you hate it. Don't disguise yourself to maintain your image. Follow your heart. Do what you want to do. Enjoy with awareness. Because cultivation is not about being world-weary. World weariness is when the mind can't feel stimulation. This is not the so-called detachment, Cultivation is to love everything with vibrant life. Then, with a mind of emptiness and non-attachment, allow everything to happen. Accept everything that happens. Allow yourself to do what you like. Allow others to do what they like. No one is doing anything wrong. Therefore, there's no need to judge yourself or others. The premise of accepting everything that happens is accepting every present moment. If a person can't accept the present, how can they talk about acceptance and surrender? That's escape, not acceptance. Acceptance is being present with the moment. At this moment, I know what my body and mind are doing, but I have no opinions about everything that happens. I have no opinions about the mind's thoughts and the body's emotions. I don't need to find ways to fight or change or escape. Facing everything that happens in the present is a very important way to enter the present. As long as you still have problems, you're still at the level of the mind. Because problems are either in the past or the future, there's no problem in this second. It's past memories and future imaginations squeezing this second, polluting this present moment. In a life without problems, our hearts will be pure, without disturbances from the past and future, in a state of nothingness and no thoughts. Like when we laugh heartily, the mind always has no distracting thoughts. So-called cultivation is just honest awareness. Awareness without following, awareness without attachment. Whatever the present is, it is. Do not resist. Living in the present is such a state, peaceful and joyful. So be present in this moment. No matter what happens, it doesn't matter. Be with it. Appreciate everything. Don't escape so-called fear. Don't fight against so-called pain. Face them truthfully. See them clearly. Focus attention entirely on yourself. Experience everything with full love, no matter how the outside world seems. You will find that your very existence is bliss. Therefore, cultivation is not being world-weary, but living in the present with vitality. Fresh and peaceful, living in the moment. More focused, more fully experiencing everything that happens and exists in life. Experience without attachment, experience without resistance, because everything is flowing and changing. No good or bad, just phenomena changing. If you must cling, wanting the changing to be unchanging, that is ignorance. And if you have to say what the meaning of life is, it is to focus on experiencing every present moment. Whatever you're doing, focus on doing and experiencing it. No need to think about something else while doing it, because what you're doing is real. What the mind thinks is mostly not. Because the mind only thinks about the past and the future, which are not what's truly happening now. Conversely, if you can't experience the real life scenes, living in the mind, what meaning can other meanings have? So first, live in the reality of the present. Only by living in reality can we talk about meaning. Finally, awakening does not need to be pursued. Pursuit is a product of the ego, and the ego cannot awaken. Because the ego doesn't exist at all. Think about it. When there are no thoughts, where is the ego? It's obvious. The so-called ego is just thoughts. So how can thoughts awaken? So there's no need to pursue so-called awakening. On the contrary, the ego that pursues awakening is the biggest, even the only obstacle. Awakening is waking up. It's awareness realizing itself. Awakening means the deluded mind dissolves. The personal self disappears. Realizing that originally there is nothing, the true heart naturally appears. So at most, we just need to fully abide in this moment. No need to pursue any special experiences or enlightenment. Enlightenment happens by itself, happens naturally, not by human effort. Following nature, doing without doing, that is great wisdom. Everything is neither good nor bad. That's all. Never make unnecessary moves. There's no need to point fingers at everything that happens. Just be with it. There's nothing to judge. Whether it has happened or not, it's all the same, neither good nor bad. Life is like a dream. Everything is a dream. All right. Thank you very much for reading this far. I hope it can touch and inspire you. See you next time.